Political ideologies. Political, relating to government or conduct of government, relating to or concerned with the making as distinguished from the administration of governmental policy, relating to, involving or involved in politics, and especially party politics, organized in governmental terms political units, involving or charged or concerned with acts against a government or a political system. Ideology. In the social scientific sense, ideology is a coherent set of ideas which provide a basis for organized political action. Anarchism. The etymological origin of the word anarchism is from the ancient Greek word anarchia, meaning without a ruler. It is an anti-authoritarian political philosophy that rejects hierarchies, deemed unjust, and advocates their replacement with self-managed, self-governed societies based on voluntary cooperative institutions. It is a political theory which is skeptical of the justification of authority and power, especially political power. It is usually grounded in moral claims about the importance of individual liberty. Anarchists also offer a positive theory of human flourishing based upon an ideal of non-coercive consensus building. Political anarchists focus their critique on state power, viewing centralized monopolistic coercive power as illegitimate. Anarchism in a political philosophy maintains that there is no legitimate political or governmental authority. In political philosophy, anarchy is an important topic for consideration, even for those who are not anarchists. Anarchy is often viewed by non-anarchists as the unhappy or unstable condition in which there is no legitimate authority. Anarchism in the history of political philosophy. In the ancient world, anarchism can be found in the ideas of the Epicureans and Cynics. Cynics avoided political activity, advising retreat from political life in pursuit of tranquility and self-control. Cynics are also known for advocating cosmopolitanism. Anarchism in the history of political philosophy. An important historical touchstone is William Godwin, first modern proponent of anarchism. He is also considered one of the first exponents of utilitarianism. He argued that resulting governmental power was not necessarily better than anarchy. He explained, we must not hastily conclude that the mischiefs of anarchy are worse than those which government is qualified to produce. Famous anarchists. Alan Moore, known for his influential graphic novels like Watchmen and for being a practicing magician, Alan Moore is also a self-professed anarchist. His position: it seems to me that anarchy is the state that most naturally obtains when you're talking about ordinary human beings living their lives in a natural way. It's only when you get these fairly alien structures of order that are represented by our major political schools of thought that you start to get these terrible problems, arising problems regarding our status within the hierarchy, the uncertainties and insecurities that are the result of that. Leo Tolstoy, or Count Lev Nikolaevich Tolstoy, Russian writer who is regarded as one of the greatest authors of all time, who received multiple nominations for Nobel Prize in Literature. The Sermon on the Mount caused him to become a fervent Christian anarchist and pacifist. His ideas on nonviolent resistance, expressed in such works such as The Kingdom of God is with You, 1894, were to have a profound impact on such pivotal 20th century figures as Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King. In his middle age, Tolstoy suffered an existential crisis, questioning whether God exists and in return whether life had meaning. He wrote his way through this crisis in The Confession, and afterward became a Christian anarcho-pacifist. His later novels, such as The Death of Ivan Lich, 1886, and What is to be Done, developed a radical anarcho-pacifist Christian philosophy, which led to his excommunication from the Russian Orthodox Church in 1901. Tolstoy's profound influence on the nonviolent resistance movement reverberates unto this day. He believed that the aristocracy were a burden on the poor, and that the only solution to how we live together is through anarchism. In his piece on anarchy, Tolstoy wrote, "The anarchists are right in everything, in the negation of the existing order, and in the assertion that, without authority, there could not be worse violence than that of authority under existing conditions. They are mistaken only in thinking that anarchy can be instituted by a violent revolution. This alone is needed, will certainly be successful, and this is the will of God, the teaching of Christ. There can be only one permanent revolution, a moral one, the regeneration of the inner man. His faith led him to believe that all government was inherently violent and all violence inherently unchristian. Because of this radical fusion of politics and religion, the Russian Orthodox excommunicated him in 1901. Emma Goldman. Emma Goldman was an anarchist, political activist, and writer. She played a pivotal role in the development of anarchist political philosophy in North America and Europe in the first half of the 20th century. Goldman became a writer and a renowned lecturer on anarchist philosophy, women's rights, and social issues, attracting crowds of thousands. Goldman initially became attracted to anarchy after the Haymarket affair. In response to this event, Goldman affirmed her beliefs in anarchy and in the use of violence to establish an anarchical society, the so-called propaganda of the deed. Propaganda of the deed is a specific political action meant to be exemplary to others and serve as catalyst for revolution. It is primarily associated with acts of violence perpetrated by proponents of insurrectionary anarchism in the late 19th and early 20th century, including bombings and assassinations aimed at the ruling class but also had non-violent applications. Now let's see who are the Filipino present-day anarchists. Faith de Mesa, a member of the Peace Church Philippines and an anarchist. Hindi sila naniniwala sa absolute na kapangyarihan ng state. Basta yung allegiance ay wala sa estado or sa presidente kundi kay Jesus Christ. Chuck Baclagon got involved with the anarchist network through his work with 350.org, an international environmental NGO that fights to eradicate the use of fossil fuels. Bas Umali, a then leftist turned anarchist, declares himself as an anarchist primarily because of political necessity, not wanting to be confused for being a Marxist. Ron Solis, seaman for 5 years prior to being a full-time anarchist. Ron Solis spends his time volunteering for environmental organizations like Greenpeace and 350. Leftist turned anarchist explains that within the anarchist network, people do various things to push for what they want. Some anarchist mode of protest may be simply giving out things in what they call a free market, while others, like the Black Bloc anarchists, do take a more violent route. Now we go on issues. President Rodrigo R. Duterte. Saturday night, he said anarchy prevails in the Bureau of Customs as he defended his decision to designate uniformed personnel in his cabinet anew. Manila on Tuesday, he lashed out against members of urban poor group Kadamay as he continued his tirades against communists and vowed more financial aid support for his troops. In a speech in Malacanang, he said, Kadamay, the group that illegally took over housing units meant for cops and soldiers in Bulacan, should not use poverty as an excuse to sow chaos. Ito ngayon, mga kadamay, itong mga left, you are almost anarchists. Yung para sa inyo, wala nang bastas. Basta't na lang inaagaw ninyo kung as if walang gobyerno, walang nagkokontrol. Thank you.